keeping you connected to our community. 11 Connects.
Hello, Southern Colorado, and welcome to 11 Connects. I'm your host, Ryan Nelson, and today from Revolution Jewelry Works, we have the owner, Jennifer Farnes. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm doing wonderful. Every time Jennifer comes, we learn a little bit more about jewelry, but today we are learning about rings and why and what is the proper way to size a ring.
Yeah, so there's a couple of different ways that you can go. Now with plain bands, it's actually really cool. You can take a plain ring and you can heat it up and stretch it or compress it, realign those molecules. And the reason for that is because when you visit a manufacturing facility, plain gold bands are actually made as long pipe, kind of like you see, copper plumbing. And they take the pipe, they cut the width they want, they polish it, they finish it. That's your ring. And so with those pieces, there's actually no sizing joints. So that's the reason that you can stretch it and compress it and not cause any damage to the ring. Now, that's within reason, a couple of sizes up or down. But when we're talking about rings that have stones, it's a totally different scenario because you have places where the stone culettes sit that you actually have to drill a hole so that way you don't chip the stone. But then you're creating cavities and holes within the ring, and those are thin spots. So if you try to stretch a ring that has stones, you're actually going to be creating space where those stones are set rather than in the bottom of the ring where it's solid.
Mm-hmm. Wow, great advice, because I know there's someone who's watching right now and they just grab their ring and they're like, oh my goodness, my ring, it's too big, it's too small, but I don't want to ruin the band because of losing a potential stone.
Yeah.
So that is great advice. Now, there is, like you said, you can add metal to a band that does not have stones, right?
Right.
Okay.
And, we've had people ask, well, can't you just stretch it and then pull the stones and reset them? Well, with prongs, I always kind of lead into the analogy of we've all taken like a coat hanger and we've bent it until it snaps. With prong settings, if you manipulate the prongs too many times, the exact same thing is going to happen in that noble metal, whether it's silver, gold, platinum, whatever. And so it makes a lot more sense to have the prongs function the way they're supposed to, where they hold the stones. And what we do with the sizing is we cut the sizing joint at the bottom of the ring and we manipulate the metal up or down from there. So we either add a piece of sizing stock that's taking up that extra space that we need to size it up, or we're removing a piece of metal to size it down. And with the prongs from there, we're able to tighten them down and make sure that everything stays secure.
I love that. Now I have a question on behalf of the pregnant ladies that are loving their ring, but it's become a little bit too tight. What would your suggestion be to them?
We find with pregnancy, it really around the 5 or 6 month mark is where water retention becomes a little extreme. And you can absolutely size your ring, but we all expect everybody's going to go back down to their pre-pregnancy weight, shortly after having the kid, within 6 months or a year. So a lot of times we'll have women that come in, and if it's a really simple band, then sure, we can size it up. But if it's got a lot of diamonds, things like that, we'll actually recommend switching to a silicone band throughout the pregnancy. So you're still wearing a ring, but instead of manipulating the ring that has all of the stones and having to go and tighten them, and fix all of that, and then after you have the baby, sizing it back down. Again, it's like that coat hanger analogy, you're manipulating the metal a lot. So the less that we have to do that, the better off your jewelry is going to be in the long run.
Wow. Again, like I said, we're always learning when Jennifer is in the seat. For everyone that's watching at home that has further questions on ring sizing or anything jewelry related, how can they get in contact with you?
Just stop into the studio. We're at Stetson Hills and Powers, or you can find us online at rjw.rocks.
Well, thank you so much for your time and coming. We appreciate you.
Thank you.